Hello, hello everybody. How are you? How is everyone doing? Welcome back to my channel. Yeah, I know we've been hearing a lot lately that people are moving out from the UK. There's so many people who are deciding to live permanently, maybe go to other countries. Yeah, so basically there's been a lot of exit, and I've been talking to a couple of people that I know, and one or two friends that have also recently just left the country. And I also know that there could be people who are probably wondering, maybe you've been planning to come, and you're just wondering what's going on, why is everyone leaving and most people are no longer comfortable coming. I just had someone pop me a question the other day as well, and I just thought I'll probably share from some of the things that I've discussed with the two or three people that I know that have left, and maybe just share some of the reasons that they've given me. And I know that also some people some of us who are still here, so it's not all hope lost and everything. So I just sort of wanted to share my views, what I've had, and it might just help clear the air for someone who is probably just a bit torn in between whether or not to come to the UK or whichever country you're planning to go to. It's not just the UK. I know there's always things happening in other overseas countries as well. And yeah, so for the UK, I'll just sort of share some of the reasons that I've had, some of the reasons that could be contributing to this recent uncertainty and unrest amongst most of the people with regards to the UK, and probably also just share some of my views and maybe some of the just some of the things that you probably can do to help if you're uncertain. Yeah, and yeah, I hope it will be helpful. Yeah, so let's dive in right away. First of all, if you haven't subscribed, if you're coming here for the first time, welcome to my channel. My name is Maureen. If you can just take a second or 2 seconds to subscribe to my channel, you're welcome here. The things that I've really had that has been at the top of the reasons why most people are leaving, I know, is the visa changes. I think most people have been quite concerned with. I'm not quite sure about the nitty-gritties, but or the reasons as to why. But I do know that these are usually they do reviews. But I'd shared again one of my videos that talked about the 5-point plan, which is the reason why they did make some changes with the recent visas for the recent immigration visas. And yeah, and I also know one of the reasons is probably just to reduce the number of immigrants that are coming. I know that doesn't sit well, especially with us, because sometimes if you decide to come to these countries, not just the UK, it's usually because obviously you're looking for a better opportunity. So if you then hear that they're trying to reduce the number of people coming in, then it becomes a problem and it becomes a worry. So I totally understand that. So there's been the issue of frequent visa changes, and then the high cost of the visas, I think the tier 2 visas, and also if you needed to bring a dependent as well, there's been a review of the cost as well. So all this, when you talk to most of the people, they do feel like it's just too stressful. They can't keep up with the constant changes, they can't keep up with the constant amendments and the constant rules that are changing almost every year. So it's quite difficult. Yeah, so if that's something that you're probably worried about, I think it might be worth just looking into the government website, just doing your research properly, just so you know what changes have been done recently and what you're dealing with, if you're probably looking into either applying for a different visa or maybe just moving to the UK. The other thing that I've also heard from the people that have said they're moving is the cost of living. But I think the cost of living, this is something that has affected people globally, really. So yeah, people have been feeling like the cost of living in the UK has especially I think the past year, it's been tough. But again, like I said, this is something that I know has been global. Bills have risen. I won't lie, even myself have felt it, man. It's so hard, and especially for us, most Africans, I know, with those of us, especially if you're probably also dealing with the black tax, and you know, we there's a reason why we're here. And some of us, you might find that you're probably, when you decided to come here, you thought, okay, I'm going to, you know, be able to save a lot of money, cut down on costs, maybe be able to do a couple of investments here and there, and then you come here and then the cost of living hits you, and then it's just it's a lot to adjust to, it's a lot to take in. And yeah, I think that does need a lot of resilience. It does need doing your research before you decide to move, or just basically being adaptable, because I think with these things, sometimes you might think that you're probably moving somewhere else only to get hit by the same scenario, the same circumstances. So I think before you make a decision, it will be much better to just sort of research to make sure that you're not probably going to encounter the same difficulties or the same situation, the same whirlwind of, you know, events. The other thing that I've also had, and that again, one thing that a friend of mine who actually had moved here 2 years ago and has moved again has relocated to another country. I'm totally not against relocating. I think it's a personal choice, and to each their own. Everybody has each and their own valid reasons. So obviously, moving is usually for if you decide to relocating to a country, especially far from family and friends, it's tough. It's quite difficult. It's quite a big decision in itself. So if you move somewhere and you find that it's no longer meeting your purpose, you're not happy and you're struggling, then I absolutely understand why someone would want to relocate. The other thing that yeah, I was sorry, I literally just segued there. The other thing that I've had is the expectations, basically. When the expectations don't meet the reality. So I know most of us, when we usually, like, when you're planning to move to country, I can just even for myself, I remember you have these plans, the way you've perceived, let's say for instance the UK, the way you perceive it to be, the way you perceive your living situation is going to be, the way things are going to be. You have a plan, because obviously this is a big decision. And again, this is not applicable, this is not across the board. I'm sure there are people who like they've decided to move and they're like really, really happy with the decision. So I can't really generalize this is absolutely individualistic and circumstantial, and you can't really generalize. But for the people who've struggled, I know that has been one of the reasons, whereby you probably, like for instance, you're probably staying in your own house like back at home, and then you move here, and then obviously you realize that the rent is too high, and then maybe for the first few months you probably have to live with people that you don't know before you can move to your own place. Again, the issues with cost and some things that you probably have to pay for. There is a video here that I did talk about the culture shock. And yeah, so there is a lot of adjustment that needs to be done. And if you haven't like really just done your research properly, again, asked around, and be and just, you know, be able to be adaptable, then it will really be a struggle. So again, I think a remedy that I will give for towards that is just, please just research, ask your friends, so anybody who you know, even if not friends, who's been there, to just sort of give you their experiences. And guys, even those people who are here, if I think it's I know sometimes when people when you do tell people, some people might feel like you probably don't want them to move, and that's why most people just try to like keep stuff to themselves. But it's good to like just sort of get other people's perspectives, or people that you trust, obviously, get their perspective, and just so that you know what you're going to meet with, because nowhere is ever going to be the same. Nowhere in the world is going to be the same. Nowhere is like home, obviously. So it's just, again, just looking into where you're going to, finding up about what to expect. And it might not be the same as what you're probably researching on, but at least it does give you an idea of what to expect. It does prepare you in advance. Yeah, so I think that is one of the things that I'll probably recommend again. Yeah, the things like obviously homesickness, and sometimes that can just be lack of patience as well. So just it's the things that are obviously difficult, like things with the visa fees. I understand those are like really difficult things, but I'm not saying you deciding to move to the other countries might probably, you might find that most of these countries, the ones that we usually just migrate to, you when you move there, when you speak to people who are there, you find that the experience is more or less the same. So again, just so that you don't end up relocating and moving from place to place, I think it's fair enough if that's how you feel. But I think for someone who is probably planning and they're unsure as to where they want to move to, this is just general for everywhere. I think please just research as much as you can, be open-minded, be open to gaining new experiences, be open to, being surprised and just being adaptable, and just basically come with an open mind, go with an open mind wherever it is that you're going to. And I think that will sort of help with settling and just navigating your ways through and finding ways in which you can settle in. And even if not settling in, if you decide, okay, this is not the place for me, then moving, but at least you've given yourself that chance to explore, and the relocating was worth it, because it's a lot of money that you spend with all these things, with the visas and everything. So I think it will be worth at least gaining something from it. um yeah, I don't know, this is just a short video. I just thought I'll probably share, because I know this has been on the top of the list, what has been going on. Everyone is like, yeah, everyone is moving away from the UK, no one wants to come in. Yeah, there are those things. There's been lots of visa changes, there's been a lot of tightening of the immigration rules, that there's been a lot of changes, especially with the dependents, which is a huge, it does make a huge difference, it does make a huge impact. But obviously I think when these other countries as well, you might find there are things that are not the same as here as well. So it's basically just, before you decide to relocate somewhere, I think so that it's worth your while, I think it's worth really doing a good research. And again, like I said, have an open mind. Yeah, that's all from me today, and this is just gonna be a really quick short video. So yeah, I hope that's helpful. Thank you. Bye.